Greetings and salutations, fine people. I'm Patti Alvarez. Welcome to The Good Soul, a show where we'll have supercharged chats with everyday humans from all walks of life and unpack what in their story will inspire us all. We'll extract the untapped wisdom, distill it, and serve it up to you in all the right ways that will engage, enlighten, and most of all, inspire growth within your soul. I think people are awesome. So join me on this journey through the hearts and minds of ordinary people to uncover the good soul within you. This is The Good Soul. Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Good Soul, episode 2. Today's episode is called Lucky in Love, part 2. So this is our second week here. And I'd like to start first by introducing the love of my life, the man of my dreams, the soulmate, and the man who's single-handedly responsible for the air I breathe, Manny Alvarez.
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you so very much, sweetheart.
Well, I'll say it again. There's not enough words. There's just not enough words, honey. Thank you so much for last week. You did such a great job.
Well, a little nervous, but okay.
Well, how could
Thank you
you
so
not
much,
be?
sweetie.
We're not, we're going to become, but we're not quite yet expert podcasters, but we'll get there, I'm sure. So,
I'll
no,
follow
you
your
did a
lead.
great job. And I
I'll
learned a
follow
lot
your lead.
about myself. I'm going to definitely keep um, the likes and the ums to a minimum. Thanks, my friend Rob, who advised me to count my likes and ums, and also, of
Right.
course, to ask you questions, right? And I'll do my best to keep completing sentences and entertain you most of all. So I'm going to give you a little bit of basics about the show to start. In the intro, you heard a lot about what our focus is, but I would say a little bit more on how I could speak to that is I would say unapologetically, I see the world through rose-colored glasses. I definitely am a half full rainbows and unicorns type, and it's really hard to get me to see the bad in people. I always kind of look right to the good. I think it may be a little bit part self-preservation, so I don't get stressed out. I don't know. I think hating is and getting frustrated with other people is too much work because typically the things we get frustrated about are things we can't control anyway. So I'd rather see the good soul in people. We have these great conversations in the lobby, and I've always wanted to turn it into some type of red table talk type like podcasts. So here we are. And as I said last week, what better person to have on than would be my husband? We can iron out all
Well,
the kinks, we can work out all the jitters, and I think we did a good job at that last week. So
oh,
thank you,
well, if you
baby.
think so, okay.
Yeah, you were
Like I
awesome.
said, I follow your lead and we'll go from there.
Good. Well, all right. Well, again, thank you. So we're going to give you a little bit of review. There were some things as I watched back that I think we missed. So on that fateful day, it was August 13th. I'm sorry, August 3rd of
Whoa,
2013.
you forgetting
Sorry,
dates?
August 3rd of
Oh,
2013 was the day we met. I had unexpectedly been invited to a party in Manny's benefit, in Manny's honor. My daughter had just gotten back from a teen tour. She was in 7th grade. She was in London for the month, and we literally like went right to the party. I don't want to say from the airport, but we were tired. We were low on gas, and I was
you were looking
working.
good though.
I was looking. Thanks. Thanks. So yeah, I still have that dress. That was a good dress. You could
White.
probably show that picture. Yeah, it was really fantastic. The Greek goddess dress. But anyway, definitely an unlikely pairing, I would say. And we've heard
Out of
feedback
nowhere.
from
Out
people
of
around
nowhere.
us to our face and maybe a little bit sometimes behind our back that I don't know that anybody would pair us together. And then look what happens. I always say, and we talked about this from the get go, that whole the kids come first thing. I think
Without a
that makes
doubt.
a big
Without
difference.
a doubt.
And I think that despite our differences um, on the surface, I think that our core values are very similar.
I think it's very close.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No
I
question.
think just about on point. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
More than I thought anything would be like that.
Yeah.
Tight.
Yeah. Well, we fly well together. We're very compatible, and I think we really enjoy each other. I think that couples at some point, like, they start to really, like, I don't know, they can't stand each other almost. Usually it's
I think
something.
it's growing kind of a bit. No, you think it's enough, it's
Yeah.
not going to stop,
Yeah.
but it
Well,
grows.
we're empty nesting at this point. We're pretty much empty nesting, and we just built a new house, which is really exciting. So anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves. So we met at the party on August 13th. I sent you the novel, Trying to Cure Your MS Through Juices and Yoga on
In one day.
Facebook the next day, right? He called me and texted me. And before he went back to North Carolina that week, we went on a date at Serena in Long Branch at Pure
Beautiful place.
Village, a
Beautiful place.
beautiful restaurant where we shared our first kiss, which was fantastic.
On the boardwalk.
On the boardwalk, yes. And
Ocean
oh, another really
crashing
cool
behind
part
us.
about 2 really cool things about him was the first time I talked to him on the phone, I couldn't believe how deep your voice was.
Wow, I hope it don't sound way too deep on.
It does sound way too
No,
deep.
does it?
It's
You
cool
know what? I
though.
really didn't
Oh,
realize
come
that.
on, own it. It sounds really cool. You know you
Okay.
love it. So that was one thing. And then the second thing was the first time he kissed, how much taller you are than me. I mean, like,
That
oh my
is,
God. Yeah.
that's
So
a
I
big
mean, it's
difference there.
yeah, and I'm about 5'3.5", 5'4", depending. He says he's 6'2", but I think we have to get it. One of these days we have to really like, in all
You're saying
seriousness measure it.
6'3"? I'm still saying 6'2".
Okay. All right. So, so about a month and a half went by. We met at the beginning of August. So it was actually 2 months that we ended up meeting on a rendezvous in Virginia. We rented the log cabin. We had a really great time. You kind of hid it from the kids, which was really cute and funny, Jesse and Rachel.
Because again, remember, it was only what, 4 months, right?
2 months.
2 months.
Manny had just got out of Manny and his ex-wife had split after a 22-year marriage. So, we did want to take this very cautiously. So I think the reason why I want to recap is because I want to share a couple of really important thoughts that we had, what seemed at the time like insurmountable challenges to face. Your MS, you live there, I lived here. My father was very sick. My roots were very deep.
My grandmother.
Your grandmother was sick. There were so many things happening, and we fought through it.
Yeah,
I
I was
mean,
going to say we did, not a good job. I'm not going to say good job, but hell, it was tough.
it was tough. It was challenging. I would get a call in the middle of the night or a text from Rachel. He's in the hospital. He has pneumonia. He has 104 fever. Manny has MS. So that was a big, big, big challenge. But I would visit probably every 2 or 3 months.
I don't know how you stay.
Why?
I was pretty bad. Well, I'm still banged up, but thank you so
No.
much.
Oh, you're welcome, son. You're totally worth it. I mean, worth every challenge, like tenfold. I would do it all over again in a heartbeat and never change a thing. Um, so I think one story I wanted to point out, because I feel like I'm a self-proclaimed somewhat boss lady. On one of the trips to, what do you think? Anybody knows what you think? No, one of my trips to North Carolina, we went to the Pit, which is a go-kart racing.
Mrs. Race
A
car
go-kart
driver.
racing.
Mrs. Race car driver.
And here I am, as we're driving there, I'm like, I'm gonna like kick your booty. I'm gonna run circles around you.
And she's sitting on. You were serious.
I was
Dead
serious.
serious now.
I'm like, what does it take? Just
Dead
floor it
serious.
and go. So we get to the Pit, and it's like an organized race, and there's probably about 15 people, and the races go about 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah, and you
No, more
leave
than
with
that.
like a excruciatingly painful headache because you're getting jostled around and it's loud and it's freezing.
Yeah,
And
because you don't let go of the gas. It's like a race car. You're spinning out. You're going too fast. I like it. It's
yeah,
fun.
it's fun,
It's a
but
rush.
the long and short of it was I thought I was so cool, and he lapped me about 4 times, which
And meanwhile, I'm going, okay, you're gonna beat me. You're gonna beat me. No, you're not.
yeah, well, I think it told me what a man you are. So anyway, we wound up the long and short of it at the end of that, and this is where we ended last week, was we wound up in New Jersey, and Rachel moved with Manny to New Jersey.
Because she was staying with me.
Yes, because she stayed with him right through his MS, and she was definitely his caretaker.
Yeah.
And I was so happy that she liked me because she was so attached to you and still so attached to you. And what an honor. Like, I feel like I had to get through her in all the right ways. Like, she cared so much for you. So they end up moving to New Jersey.
Any other girls. I may cut you off. I'm sorry, sweetheart.
We'll say this again.
How I am.
And Jesse and Molly know that.
All
it goes
equal.
without
Yeah,
saying that.
yeah.
We all love each other. So we're going to wrap this up here where we left off last week.
Okay.
And we're going to pick up with the move to New Jersey and blending our families and reacclimating. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody, to The Good Soul. episode 2, Lucky in Love, part 2. I'm lucky enough to be sitting here with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Manny Alvarez, and the one who's lucky enough to call me his wife.
Right on.
Such a dork. Welcome back, everybody.
I
So we
love you, babe.
recapped in our first, I love you too. We recapped in our first segment, basically the beautiful love story of how we met, the good times we've had, the challenges we've faced. And here we are landed in New Jersey. Rachel is 16 and a sophomore. Molly is 14 and going into her freshman year of high school. So,
And Jesse,
Jessie was in North Carolina and she was a freshman in college at that point.
there you go. You're better with them
So,
dates and
yeah,
than I
yeah.
am. That's a
She
dang.
graduated high
Oh,
school
sure.
the June before we met in
Mm-hmm.
August. That was 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So we end up in New Jersey. Manny and I, after my father's passing, were living in the house that I grew up in, 251 in Middletown. And it was a really tough time. I had just lost my father. It was
Just lost
sad.
on
It
my
was
grandmother.
confusing. He just lost his grandmother. Um, he had just been well, he had been diagnosed with MS, but when we had met, but we were still facing the challenges of his MS. But the power of love, the beauty of it all was we had each other. And I believe in any case, you're unstoppable when you have each other. And that's what we did. So Rachel and
We leaned
Manny
on each other
made
big
way.
time.
We did. We
Oh
definitely did.
yeah,
We
I know. I
empowered and
know.
inspired each other, and we
Hundred
still do to
percent.
this day. So we made way up to New Jersey. They made way up to New Jersey. We registered the girls in high school. That was August of 2015, right?
I'm glad
So
you're doing those dates and
yeah,
I
and it
ain't.
was great. Everybody in Middletown was so great. My friend Matt Kirkpatrick, Tara Houston helped get Rachel specifically settled. It was really, that's challenging to leave
It-
the life that you know. She loves her mother dearly. I love her mother too. I think she's awesome. Like to leave her mom and all that it was a lot. And I to this day I'm indebted to Rachel for being so supportive of our relationship. Um, but at one point, Jesse and Rachel share their birthdays are a week apart. So Jesse is
year and a week. A
Halloween.
year and a
Well,
week.
of course,
Oh,
a
cool.
year,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
a week apart.
Mm-hmm.
Right, 2 years, more than a year. No, Jesse's like 3 years older than Rachel.
Oh well. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Jesse's
Four,
four
four,
years older
four
than
years older.
Rachel.
4 years.
Yeah. So Jesse is Halloween and
I'm getting yelled
Rachel
at for that
is
one.
November 7th. But Jesse, he does know how to spell your middle name now. We got that
Right
one down.
on.
We got that one down.
That's it.
Anyway, so Manny decides to stay in New Jersey because he's not feeling well. And we hadn't rented or sold 153, the house we were living in North Carolina. So Rachel, Molly, and I drove to North Carolina to spend their birthdays here. So we celebrated Jesse's birthday, Halloween. I don't know what I can't remember what we did. I know we went out to dinner at one point. We got invited over to, I think we went to Joanne's, or it was Joanne's house. That's Manny's ex wife. We had a great time. And at one point, we went to lunch. Jesse was working at Pisces, and me, Molly, and Rachel had lunch. And we were leaving, and Rachel had to go back in to get something.
Some
I
good
think she left
sushi
her
there.
phone. Yeah, Pisces is great. So we're walking through the parking lot in the Pisces shopping center, and Molly looks at me and Mom, I really don't mind if you want to move here. I don't think my toe hit like the next line in the parking lot. I called Manny. I'm like, baby, don't unpack your bags. We're coming back. So when you got to New Jersey, you came for my father's funeral and you literally just had like a suitcase. You didn't even pack like a ton of, now you do pack like the Vanderbilt. So we'll say you probably had enough for 3 months, but you really didn't
I'm
like
going for a
formally
day.
say
I pack for a week.
he packs for a week. He didn't formally say like, I'm moving to New Jersey. I'm going to bring all this stuff. So you didn't even have all of your stuff with you. We never really sealed up the house. So that was
Mhm.
part of why we went down. So anyway, I said to Manny, don't unpack your suitcase. We're coming back.
And I kept him
So,
saying, "It's up to you. Whatever you want to do." I was willing to
yeah,
go back.
I know he did. He was really great. He was very supportive and he really did
I
leave
even
it up to
said,
me.
"We'll
But I
leave.
think we all did. I mean, it
We could have
really,
kept this house here and rented it out. Whatever you wanted to do, you knew that, though."
yes. Yeah, absolutely. Um, but in all that time, as I like to consider myself sort of like a aficionado of delight and living the good life, right? We bonded. Me, Rachel, Molly, Jessie when she was with us, whether it was cooking. So I was vegan at the time. For 20 years, I was vegan. I'm sorry to all my vegan friends, but I'm not vegan
I
anymore.
tried it for a
I
year.
maybe he did try it
I
for a year.
gave it a
We'll
shot.
get to that.
Yes.
Um, Food, fashion, movies, music, trips. We had so much fun trying to make,
Cruising.
well, yeah, well, that, yeah, again, we'll get to the cruise. I'm talking about me bonding with the girls
Oh
and
yeah, yeah. I'm
all of us
sorry.
bonding with each other.
Of course.
We get Shanti. We found a dog online, and we'll show the picture of
Shanti.
our puppy. Shanti is the big hot mess. We always say she always looks scared and
She's
stressed.
strung out.
Yeah, and she's beautiful. I feel like if Lana Del Rey was a dog, she would be Shanti.
Half
She's
pit,
just
half lab.
fantastic. What?
Half pit, half lab.
Half pet, half lab, yeah. We got Frida and Baby. That was a funny story. I'm gonna save this really for when Rachel
So
is
much to talk.
on, but we went to, Brighton Beach, and we went to a apartment where, the woman was Russian. She didn't speak a lick of English, and there was probably, like, I don't know, 20 what was supposed to be miniature Persian cats, which were not at all miniature. If you Google most miniature animals that they try to sell you, like code word rip off,
Fake.
most animals aren't really
Fake. Rip
miniature.
off.
There's some, but not our Persians. They're both regular sized cat. They both ended up regular sized cats. So we got cats. We had so much fun. So we all pack up the cats, the dog, me, you, Jesse, Rachel, Molly, and we make way in a U-Haul back to North Carolina. Right. And that was a big deal. My roots were really, really, really deep in New Jersey,
Lots of
but
friends, family,
yeah,
everybody's
business. I
yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
was involved
I
in Red
know
Bank
stuff.
politically, like there was so much going on. But something about Mooresville is like, I would say, like, when you go on
I told you something caught me
vacation,
too when I came. I was like, oh, I
yeah,
like it.
it's like a
I
ma
like
so
it.
I was like, when you go on vacation and you rent a car, and say you, like, rent a car and you're staying in, like, I don't know, Key West, or and you get up in the morning and you're like, it's, early, and you get in the rental car and everyone's sleeping, you go get your coffee in, like, a new town. Like,
And when
I
you say new, it's new.
yeah,
And not like Jersey. Everything's older.
everything's very, very new here. Yes, and it's not taking anything away from New Jersey. New Jersey's
No, I mean,
awesome.
no, yeah, come on. We lived there for years.
Yeah,
I mean,
but there's something
shit.
magical about this place. I just love living here so much. So I was really excited to get here. The only really hard part for me was my sisters, my niece, my nephews, my friends. That was really
Yeah, your
hard.
family. Of
Yeah, it was
course. That's
really
what's so,
hard,
yeah.
and thankfully now,
And the
um,
ocean. I do like, I do
eh,
miss,
I mean,
I
I could live
love the
without
ocean.
the
Like,
ocean. Yeah,
I lived a block away. The
yeah,
smell of it, that was beautiful.
yeah.
That's the only thing. Everything else is beautiful. We got the water in the backyard now in the lake. You
We
want to
live
go
on
on?
the
I'm
lake,
jumping.
and the
I'm
ocean is
jumping.
3 hours away.
Yeah, I'm jumping.
Yeah, you are jumping. But at any rate, it was hard leaving my sister, specifically my sister Kelly, of course Tammy too. But that's what we did, and I'm glad that we did it. It was the best decision. So as soon as I got here, um, I went for my yoga training. So this is another funny story for those of you who know Hot 26 Bikram Yoga. The studios are rare. And when I'm fixing to move here, I'm like, hey, maybe I'll open a yoga studio finally. Like I'll reinvent myself, and
Isn't
I
it?
love yoga.
Yeah, you did. You didn't. Yeah, that's what you said. I didn't think it was gonna happen that fast. It happened kind of
Well,
fast though.
again, stop pushing
Oh, I'm
me.
so
Hang
sorry, sweet
on.
thing. I get
Okay.
excited.
No,
You know
that's all
me.
right. He does. He's jumping the gun. I Google Bikram Yoga, North Carolina, and sure as you know what, Amy, who I eventually bought the studio from, Amy Clement, was opening a Bikram studio in Mooresville, literally 2 miles from Manny's house. That's when I really knew it was meant to be. So Amy opened the studio in 2013. I'm sorry, 2014, which I think actually today is today the 22nd, or yes, I think yesterday was
It's
actually
23rd.
technically our 10-year anniversary. I asked Amy about that. But anyway, when we moved, I had known Amy because when I would travel here, I would take class at the studio. If I'm saying here, because the podcast studio is also in the yoga studio, which it's in my office for those of you who don't know that. Um, so I told Amy when we decided to move here, I emailed her from New Jersey and I said, whether you want somebody to clean your toilets or buy the studio from you, I will do that or anything in between. I'm moving to North Carolina. So we'll get back to how that story continues. But
Zip.
when I got here, all Amy said to me, "What? Yeah, zip, easy killer."
I know. I know.
When I got here, um, Amy said, all I ask is that you do a training. At the time, Bikram training was very strict. You had to go through Bikram Chaudhry himself. Now we have the OHYA, the OYA, which allows people to teach Hot 26 through different trainings. But at that time, Bikram was the only person. So I took actually a vinyasa training. And Amy, at that point, the Oya was going through its development. Bikram had moved back to India. He had his legal troubles. And Amy taught me through the Oya standards how to teach Bikram. So I started teaching here, earning my chops, getting my hours in. And I want to make sure I don't get ahead of myself
Ah, now
either.
it's me.
You guys don't mind? I'm going to cheat and look at
I'm
my
not saying nothing
notes.
right now. I'm letting you
No.
roll.
Oh, no, that's okay. Um, but at any rate, I started teaching and I really did. I started finding my purpose here. So, again, back to the romance, back to like the focus and what I really want everyone, men, women, everybody to understand how much sticking to your guns, sticking to, following your heart
And
and
there's always
really
someone out there for you.
well, there's always someone out there, and when you listen to your heart and you don't go according to the agendas of others, which we all have agendas for the people we love, that's normal. How great the greatest things happen beyond your wildest dreams. So, I say this every day, but really, Simone, Brenda, Cindy, Molly Jane,
I want to
Anne
name
Marie,
names. You're gonna
Sandy,
miss somebody's
Lizette.
name. There's so many names. You can go on and on with those names.
I have met some of the greatest friends, and again, obviously,
Yeah.
silver and gold. I'm not taking anything away from my friends in my former life, but I'm just so glad I made it here and all the great connections I made. So coming up next, stay tuned to marry or not to marry because this one took a long time to propose to me and it was killing me,
Ooh.
guys. So stay tuned. We'll be back. Don't turn that dial. Hey guys, welcome back to The Good Soul, episode 2, Lucky in Love, part 2, with the love of my life, Manny Alvarez.
Hello, hello,
So,
hello.
where do we leave it? Where do we leave it?
Oh,
Cold feet. No. Where we left it was
long time.
we all end up in North Carolina and the garden really starts to blossom. So this was another interesting point. And again, I bring this up because people in their middle age, when they're going into second marriages, and I'll say this repeatedly, Manny's ex-wife was very cooperative and made it very easy for me to kind of settle in to their family, into the new family or the new version, the new structure. But I basically was moving into the house that you had lived in, which, yeah.
And
Yeah, and that was great. It worked out fine. It
okay,
worked out totally fine. It
okay.
was hard. I was cautious in
There you
changing
go.
things in the beginning because I didn't want to like rock the boat too much. But it really did work out great. So we were living at
I thought so.
153. Yeah. Oh my
I
God.
thought perfect.
Absolutely.
Everything just melted pretty good.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of, like routine, like odds and ends. We'd face our
But that's
challenges.
everything in life.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
always,
yeah, yeah.
but we didn't have a tremendous amount of drama. There was never any like, oh, I hate her, she hates me, he hates like, and it's really, I think, going into the role of the stepmother, and this is I'm speaking in general terms here. It's challenging. Like you're really it's kind of like an in-law relationship. Like you want to make sure you do everything right because you don't want to rock the boat. You're coming into this point and what we had come into each other's lives at very volatile, very hormonal years. Let's face it, 3 girls. Poor Manny.
3, 4,
Poor you,
including you.
poor
No, I'm like,
thing. Well,
you.
this poor guy. It was 4 women. Even the dog
There
was a
you go.
girl
You were a girl.
Until Murphy came along.
My buddy.
Yeah, your buddy. But so yeah, and when we had gotten to the house, we actually there was an office in Manny's house. We turned into Molly's room. So Jessie still had her room, Rachel still had her room, and then we gave Molly the old room. We put the sheetrock
We made
up
it
and we
work.
built a
Yeah, I
wall. We
built that
made it
wall
work.
back. We built that
And
wall
then
back in the day.
probably 2 years in, Jessie and Grant had broken up, and she moved out of Waterland and moved back in the house with us for about a year. I would say it was about a year, but one of the best parts, other than Jesse moving in, was yes, Murphy moved in.
Murphy.
Murphy is our dog. He's half beagle, half Jack Russell, and Jesse has really bad allergies. So I don't know how she lived with him to begin with, because the second she steps
Yeah,
foot in our
she
house, she
gets
starts to sneeze.
eyes watering.
But she's got to take Benadryl or Zyrtec or Claritin. Um, but Murphy ended up staying with us,
Yeah.
which was really awesome. So that was a really cool thing. But
You
so
guys
we're
get the animals, and I take care of them. I get
I take care of
it.
the
I'm
animals
like you.
too. What are you talking?
I
I'm like,
know.
wait a minute,
I'm home
slow
every
your roll
day
there,
with them. That's
buddy.
all I'm saying.
Yeah. So yeah, so we're at the house
Excuse
and
me.
everything is moving along swimmingly. Rachel at that point, so Rachel graduated high school. That was in 2000. I think that was 2017 that she graduated. Um,
Rolling
but
along.
yeah, we were rolling along. Everything was moving along, and I was like my finger was still vacant. There was still a vacancy on my left ring finger,
I
and
didn't want to pull that trigger for some reason. I didn't want,
I don't even. We don't have to get into the why because I don't want to know if it's something really bad. Like I
There was
didn't see
nothing
it. There was
bad.
never anything bad. We didn't have any false
You said it right
breakups,
in the
and
beginning. It was, like, the kids and transition. But I don't know.
it
I
takes
guess,
time.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know I loved you from the beginning,
Yeah, I believe that we were going to get married. We talked about it. Oh, and here's the funny thing
but
too, that he would
I
call
said it
me.
first.
No, I said it
Well, I know. I'm
first.
saying,
I
when
said
it
I
comes, we're
love
gonna
you
have
first.
kids. We're gonna do this and do
Yeah, but you said, yeah, he laid out our future on a cocktail napkin,
that.
basically. Yeah, I was on the phone with you in Seabright,
Yeah.
but no, but I said I love you first.
Yeah.
But he used to run around calling me his wife, and I would get kind of annoyed. I'm like, dude, I'm not your wife. Like, you got to earn that right, buddy. No, that's not the kind of person I am. But I
Uh-huh.
really, no, I'm not.
I'm
You
only
know, I'm not
kidding.
like
I
that kind
know.
of
I know.
woman.
I know.
But I just wanted to be your wife. Like, I really wanted to be your wife. And I was like, why are you cheapening it by calling me your wife? We're not married yet. But he still didn't propose. So Christmas of 2000, it would have been Christmas of 2016 when I really think it's going to happen. So this is the Christmas a year and 2 months after we live there.
Oh, it didn't happen.
No, and he gets me a piece of jewelry
Oh.
and he gives it to me like everybody's standing around. Like obviously Jesse and Rachel would have known, but he's standing around, everybody's standing around watching me open this gift and I open the gift. It's a pair of earrings. It wasn't a wedding ring and it was fine. I mean, I probably and to boot, they weren't earrings I would wear, but that's beside the point. And
Come on, I do my best.
I'm very
I got better
grateful.
over the years with the presents, so
No,
that's
who
another
was it?
story. Don't jump. I understand. Okay.
Yeah, who was the story? We just had this whole story about don't buy like my sister once, like my Tom brought Kelly the most beautiful car and she
Oh,
loves
sure,
the
yeah.
car.
Whatever
So
you
Tom,
do,
don't
tell
take this the
me
wrong
before you
way.
buy it.
Yeah, he buys her this beautiful Porsche.
Porsche. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
And
nice
I
car.
remember at one point she was annoyed at him for something and she's like, and by the way, don't buy me a car without asking me first. Like,
But
but
she likes the
oh, it's
bigger. She
gorgeous.
likes, yeah, it's a beautiful. But she like don't she because she likes driving
She
Tom's
likes
car now.
everything. She's got excellent
Well,
taste
but
in
that's what I'm
cars.
saying. She
And
likes
she
Tom.
loves and
That's a
again, she
bigger
loves that.
car, the
But
bigger truck,
there's
the
another story
SUV.
recently where somebody a husband, it was just a couple days ago, a husband bought a wife something and oh, it was Dee Dee and Philip. Philip bought her a beautiful couch for their new house. We're lucky for Molly, Jane, and Kyle because they got themselves a new couch. thanks
Yeah,
thanks to Philip's
Kyle loved
misfortune.
it.
I guess the moral of the story is there is a silver lining even when you screw up and get your wife the wrong gift. I don't know what the silver lining for us was in the earrings in place of
You got.
the pending engagement ring,
I ain't
but
opening my mouth. I just get myself in trouble.
no, it's fine. No, you were being cautious. You were being cautious. And listen, nobody wants to force anybody to propose to them, but
That wasn't it
dude,
though.
I was
That
just
wasn't it.
ready. I was ready and I was like, when are we getting engaged? So a year goes by. I'm sinking my roots deeper and deeper into the studio. The kids are finding their place. Rachel obviously was already at Lake Norman when Manny and I first met. She returns to Lake Norman. She's gearing up for her life as someday a psychologist, which she's in grad school right now. She's pursuing. Molly pursued theater, which is fantastic. Molly was on a television show back in second and third grade, which was very
Tube tube.
successful. She
Nice.
was, I know, Small Factory Flicks, and it actually won a an Emmy Award, a New York Emmy Award. It was a great show. We can get into that another time. That would be a fun thing for us to talk about. But um,
Rolling along.
rolling along to a year later, so the Christmas jewelry gone south
All right, let's move on.
was in December of 2016. So let's cut to my birthday, January of
There we go. Now we can
2017,
start
which is
smiling.
4 months early. Yes, and the skies open up, and we find ourselves at Luna's in Charlotte, which don't think I told you yet, but Luna's Living Kitchen,
Yeah, you closed down.
it closed down.
Yeah,
Very sad.
yeah,
We're
we said
really
that.
sad.
Yeah, we said that.
And
Well, you said that.
yeah, 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 yeah. It was really sad. It's a really fantastic, one of my favorite vegan restaurants like ever. But yeah, they closed down. But we had lunch there on my birthday that day, and we made way to Daniel Stowe Botanical Gardens. And I maybe did or didn't know what was happening that day, but I again
You
remember what I
probably
was
did. You're just
wearing. I
saying
guess
that
I
to
don't miss
make
a
you.
trick, but no,
Uh,
well, and you're really bad at keeping secrets,
oh my
especially
god!
when it's like a good surprise. You're all excited, and you almost like can't wait to for the big
I
reveal.
started hinting, and
You
I
drop
almost
these
give
little
the. I give the
bombs.
answer.
You're like, yeah, it's like,
Yeah, yeah, that's
yeah.
too easy, man. You don't have to.
Every Christmas or every like birthday, it's like, baby, you know, it's like
I
kind of
can't wait.
it's
So I got you this. Oh, you're not gonna. And then I end up spilling the beans anyway.
well, yeah, that and like it's kind of an ordeal. It's not as you're getting better, but when we first met, especially for Manny to get in the car and go somewhere was a big deal.
Oh,
He
it's
just
not that easy.
couldn't.
You
He
guys,
just couldn't.
everybody
And
don't
to this
understand
day,
what
it's
it's like in a mess.
I understand what it's like to have MS. I live with you. I
You're
don't
self-conscious about
literally understand, but
everything.
I see. But so for Manny to get in
It's
the
the
car and like go
worst.
somewhere quickly is it just doesn't happen every day. So every birthday when you're like, oh, I got to go to the store. I got to go to the store. And it's just so funny because like I'm like, but honey,
That's me
don't
though.
worry about the flowers or don't worry about the card or whatever. It's always so
No, but
funny.
I always did.
And you still
Always.
do. So we end up at the botanical gardens. You're in a wheelchair. It's 95 degrees with 40%
Pouring
humidity. We're both
sweat.
like slick, slippery, like everything was wrong. You know, like girls, like when your lipstick won't stay on, it's so humid, like everything just feels like mucky. But we end up in the indoor, what's the word? It's not greenhouse, but it's like a word for the big
Atri-
atrium, I think. But
I
and it
probably
was
got that
really
wrong
cute and
too.
adorable because it took you probably 3.5 minutes to get up out of the wheelchair
Yeah, you got this. Don't worry, but don't
and
worry. I go,
down on
no,
your
I'm getting up.
knee.
I'm getting up. I'm
He was
getting up.
like, "For the love of God, I
I
am
did it.
proposing to you on your knee." And it was really cute, the proposal, because if you ever saw like when in Rocky, when Rocky gives Adrian a dozen roses, like he almost explains to her why he gave her the roses and why he picked this color instead of that color. And that's what you did. You sat down and you like kind of like summarized our relationship in all the right ways. And it was really sweet the way he
Oh,
proposed to me, and it was really loving. And to
am I
this
crying
day,
yet?
is someone
Something's in my
chopping on? No,
eye.
is someone
Something's in
chopping
my
on? You
eye.
have something in your eye. No, it was a really great occasion, and I remember we got in the car and immediately called Rachel, but she already knew, which
Yeah, I
I
know.
thought was
Yeah,
so adorable. He told Rachel, which I thought was the cutest thing in the world. Um,
I told both of them to make sure,
yeah,
not that it was
okay,
okay with them, just so I didn't know.
yeah. So that same year, we decided not to rush it. So we just wrote out the year and planned our wedding for August of 2018. So I'll leave you guys with a little cliffhanger, a little bit of a teaser. But yeah, we planned our wedding for August of 2018. Um, and I was hot and heavy at the studio. Molly was hot and heavy with the Lake Norman choir, the Lake Norman High School's choir. Rachel was into her um, getting ready to graduate high school. Jesse was at that point in at UNCC studying psychology, which is really exciting. And all was well. Our life was well on its way. So I'll say it again, guys. Stay tuned. I'll leave you with the teaser, and we'll talk about the wedding. And that's going to
Lucky
bring
in
us
love.
fourth segment. It's going to bring us right up to
Lucky in
present day.
love.
So don't go away. We'll be back. So here we are, engaged,
Engaged.
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 It's the summer of 2017, and life is rolling along swimmingly
Rolling
in the
along.
love story of in the love story of
Oh,
Patti and
shit.
Manny. You're so adorable. Rolling along.
Long.
Um, so we're planning the wedding. It's Molly's senior year in high school. Jesse had just graduated. We took our first trip to Asheville as a family, which was really fun, and we stayed at the Omni Grove Park. It was
Oh
me
yeah,
and
yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah,
Jesse,
yeah.
Molly, Rachel. This was before any of the boys like really came. I think Tommy
The
was
place is
just
nice.
entering the scene. Oh yeah, the Grove Park's great.
Oh,
Tommy was just entering the scene, and so Jesse and Molly were both single. I mean, sorry, Rachel and Molly. Well, all three of them were single.
no,
Um,
she was with Tommy.
Was not when we went to Asheville the first time. You're thinking New Year's during COVID.
Oh, okay,
No,
okay.
the first
Mhm.
time, I think Jessie was still single, but Jessie didn't I think she was with Tommy for a while. We still I still don't have the stats on that, but Jessie, our oldest, who is just just stunning and amazing and incredible, but doesn't kiss and tell. I mean, we didn't know about Tommy for a while, and Tommy was a really funny story, and I wanna have Tommy on the show because
Tommy's good.
he's
Tommy would be good
great.
on the
Yeah,
phone.
Tommy is
Tommy would be good on
fantastic.
Tommy would be good on the mic. He's,
Well, he went to school
he's got a
for
lot
it.
of juice. That guy's
I'm not gonna rest until I see him commentating a game for the NFL
yeah.
because I think he's
I
got
think he'd do great. I
yes,
think he'd do great. I
I
really
totally agree
do.
with you. So anyway, we went to Asheville. This was again, we weren't Tommy and Jesse weren't together at that point, or maybe they were just
I
starting
think
to
they
date. No, I
didn't.
don't think so, but we'll find out.
Okay.
Um, we get through senior year. Rachel had started her first year. Her first year she went at, was at Mitchell. Molly's senior year, she had graduated, and we're planning the wedding. I'm teaching at the studio, and that same year, so August of 2018 was the year that we had our wedding. So we decided we wanted to have our wedding at our house because we lived in a really cool house. It was a great piece of property. It was just a very picturesque setting. So all of our family comes down, and we end up, my sister and all of my friends got an Airbnb off of Perth. No, off of Bloom. Right by the food line is Bloom. So
In the
they got
back,
this
yeah, in
really
the back,
amazing
yeah.
Airbnb. It was a beautiful
On the
house.
water,
Yeah, one of these beautiful
steps.
open floor
It
plans.
was
It was
nice.
one of those houses, kind of like
We flow
Sandy's.
through the front door, right?
Yeah,
Into the
like
back.
it's like
It's
Sandy's
really
house.
nice.
When
It's
you
really
walk
nice.
in her
Yeah.
front door, it's like
Wow.
lake. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like these
beautiful.
big windows. So that was like this house. So I forget who said, like, why don't you see if you can't get married here? So we ended up messaging the owner of the house, and they were nice enough to let us have the ceremony. We didn't want to have the party at the house, but we did want to have the ceremony
Cause
at this
it
house. It was
was beautiful
beautiful.
setup.
Yeah, it was a
It
beautiful
was
setup.
beautiful. Just
So that's what
walking
we
down the
did.
steps,
Yeah,
it's nice. The
it was
platform,
gorgeous.
I
Yeah.
thought it was really
It
nice.
was beautiful. Yeah, we have I mean, definitely, hopefully, we can roll some pictures of our wedding day. We'll see, how we work the technicals out with that, but it was a beautiful, beautiful ceremony, and my cousin Nina, I called her about 2 months prior and said, "It's really easy to become a, officiant for a wedding. You can do it
Oh yeah, yeah,
online."
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, Nina, who is like
She's
she's stunning.
yeah, she's
She's gorgeous,
intelligent.
she's classy, she can cook, she can sew. Not only that, but, she doesn't have a mean bone in her body. She's arguably one of the nicest
She
people I
seems
know.
like the, one of the kindest people.
Yeah, she really is.
I ever
So
encountered.
I would say if I had the first word that comes, like the first person that comes to my mind when I think hero would be my cousin Nina. Like she's one person I always looked up to my whole life. And I asked her if she would do that for us. And she was kind enough to say
She was
without a
like, yeah,
doubt.
yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt. It was
So
fast. It was like, sure, yeah.
yeah, she did it.
Okay.
So she went online, and you could do this too. You go online and you get like your some type of license. I don't know what it's called, but so anybody in our family who wants to get married, Nina can do it if you would like. Sorry, Dean. But yeah, and it was fantastic. So we got married, and then the next day we had the party
And
at
she
our
did a good
house.
job. I don't mean to stop you. She did a great job too.
She did a great job.
Great job. Go ahead. I'm
She did a
sorry,
great
kiddo.
job. So we had the party at our house the next day. Your parents came from Missouri, your brothers came, all of our friends came. It was fantastic. The only disadvantage was it was pouring rain all day.
Mm.
And I mean, like sardines, we were in the house. It was like out of control how crowded it was in the house, but it was fine. We
You had a
made
break
do.
here and there though from it. I know it poured all day, but remember
Yeah,
it'll stop and everybody run, and then it started raining on
yeah, Randy
everybody.
barbecued. My sister kind of was chiming in with Randy, and we had that big umbrella. Remember that big
Oh,
umbrella we
huge
had?
umbrella.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh
we
yeah.
had that big umbrella. So it was fine. It worked out. We had a great time. So probably like a week after our wedding, which was fantastic, a week after our wedding, Amy pulls me aside and asks me if I would like to buy the studio from her. That was right around the time when Bikram had gotten in trouble. All of the, I shouldn't say all, a lot of the studios changed their name from Bikram Yoga to Hot Yoga
You
because
can't
nobody
blame them,
real,
no.
yeah, a lot of people, I don't want to get into it
I know,
really,
I
but a
know.
lot of people
Everybody's
didn't want
got
his
their yeah,
name,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and also it was at that point a copyright because he technically, I believe it was some form of franchise at that point. People were paying him. So at any rate, Amy changed the name of the studio, and for those who are in the know, kind of care about that information. And she had said to me, and I love that Amy said this. Um, and Amy's amazing, and I'll get into why I think she's amazing. But she said, "I'm not quite the cheerleader that you are, and I feel like you could take the studio to the next level." And I say that because I don't think that the world could exist without Amy's and
Well,
Patty's.
she's the one that who jump
She
all
made the
the
bones.
intricate, yeah, the intricate stuff in
Yeah,
here, the heat,
she did
everything.
such her and Steve, her husband Steve, who like Nina is the nicest man I think I've ever met in my life. They did such an incredible job with the build out. Like so this is where I think if I had to look back and ask, and there's a million reasons why I can say that Funk didn't turn into a 300 store chain like Urban Outfitters, which was what my plan was. But and again, I'd like to dedicate an episode to that because that store was my identity. It was very sad
Mm.
for me to close it down.
Patty at
Um,
vendorstandard.net.
yeah, but that Amy and Steve did, I think, what I couldn't do at Funk is they really laid the foundation and the blueprint so that I was able to come in and be like a Mr. Megorium. I could come in and really
It was
like
actually,
paint
I'm
some
not saying
walls.
turnkey, but
Oh, it
almost
was
turnkey.
absolutely
Yeah, you know what I'm
turnkey.
saying?
It was, we had our membership. I had all the relationships formed, so it really worked out well. So that's what I did. I mean, I bought the studio, and it was the first major thing I sunk my teeth into after my father died. It was really scary, but we did it. And I brought in a can of orange paint and I designed the logo. And I was sitting on the
Good
couch at
soul.
153 and Rachel walked by and it's the orange square. It said good soul with the green asterisk. And she walked by and I said, Ray, what do you think? And she just said, I love it. And I was like, that's it. Good soul hot yoga. Cause I was toying with a lot of names. And
See,
what a fantastic experience owning the studio has been. And I'm going to keep
oh,
bringing
it's the
it back.
people, everything.
Yeah,
You're so happy here. You're
so
just
happy
so
here.
happy.
It's not work. I mean, and again, that's a whole nother topic and a whole nother conversation. But they
But that
say,
also brings a lot of joy to your family too. When you go to work happy the way you do every day, good for
yeah,
you.
I don't even like using the word work because it's such a pleasure. And as I say, when I teach yoga, it should be considered a gift and not a chore. And it really is for me. And I say that like most humbly and in the utmost gratitude because I know that there was a time in my life that I didn't have that luxury and I did have to do things I didn't want to do in order to make money, pay bills,
Hmm.
pay rent, and we all did. I think everybody's suffered, but through all of that, I think probably some of the greatest lessons I've learned have been through the most challenging times where I was struggling and suffering, and that it really gives you such. And this is all like psychology, like self help 101, but I really mean this when I say it gives you such an immense sense of gratitude for the here and now. And at this point, I'm 51 years old, and I could say in all heart of hearts, like I'm exactly where I belong.
Hmm.
But I
Right on.
also, I think we also have the wherewithal to say that I always was exactly where I needed to be, which has led me step by step. It's like taking steps up to the second floor. You have to go through all these phases and these channels and these dynasties and these, these chapters to get to a place
Lucky in
like
love.
Lucky in Love.
Let's roll on.
Well, and really again, the overarching, and I hate using all these new 2024 buzzwords, but I'll say it anyway. The overarching theme, and this is why I want to really encourage people to open their hearts, right? Really open your heart and you must overcome the obstacles and the challenges because they're going to be there. They're going to have MS. They're going to have
Challenges.
addiction issues. They're going to have big mouths. They're going to have kids that don't like you. They're going to have friends that don't like you, especially in a second marriage situation. Um, we all have quirks at that age. Like, let's face it, like,
Works at every age. You're always dealing with something. It's the
yeah,
way
but
you deal with it. Every
especially
door you open, it's the way you deal with it.
well, it's the way you deal with it, and but especially at middle age, when you start to realize that the way you like the pillow, the way you like the volume, do you sleep with the TV on? Do you sleep with the TV off?
Well,
Which
so
way do you like the toilet paper? So a lot of that stuff we really enjoy together. And I think that's kind of where we really found our common ground. But I bought the studio. We've seen incredible success. We survived COVID, and I owe the like utmost thanks to all the girls that work here because they really stuck it out with me. They didn't go rogue and start doing, they really stuck to the studio. Manny was with me through it all, and so many blessings. And I'm sure a lot of you agree with this. As much of a nightmare as it was, the reality is so many blessings came through. So I sadly have to wrap this up. I want to thank you guys all for being here, and I think throughout the future episodes, you're going to learn more and more about the ending of our love story through just me telling you my everyday tales. But until then, follow, like, share this podcast, and come back next week for The Good Soul episode 3. Love you all. Peace and love you.
Love you, Beth.